Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingvoice.com. All the guys want, I want what Mayweather got. I want what Mayweather got. You didn't bust your ass like Mayweather. I was trying to fight every fighter. I sacrificed a lot
WTF production
to get to where I got to.
What do you bring to the table?
Let's get this on. Let's do it.
Well, it's like this. Wait. All right, that's it. Hold on. Bernard, everybody calm down.
Man, you know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all. I sacrificed a lot. ThaBoxingvoice.com.
ThaBoxingvoice.com. ThaBoxingvoice.com. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice podcast. Hashtag TBV podcast. We are back. HBO versus Showtime. Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko. Who won the battle over who gets to stream the US television fight to us? Who won this deal? Those are the details that we're going to give you. We're going to tell you who came out on top. Is it Showtime? Is it HBO? I know based off the title, it kind of sounds like it's Showtime, but I don't know. You know, Ness always has a spin. Showtime wins Joshua-Klitschko US TV deal. HBO gets the tape delay. Now, that doesn't seem right. Or does it? Let's get on out to our co-hosts ranging from all over the globe. We're going to head on out to the Golden State.
WTF production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rope into a knock out. When here it is, the main thing is, I just hope the guy, I wish.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, the Hipster's back on another morning edition of TBV, and we have the classic network wars of HBO and Showtime. You know, this happened for Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. This happened for Mayweather Pacquiao, and it happened again for Anthony Joshua, Wladimir Klitschko. It happens for the big fights. We had literally the fight to determine the number one heavyweight in the world right now because Tyson Fury decided that he was done boxing. So we have Joshua versus Klitschko, both different networks. Networks had a battle for it, and we get the result that I think we were all sort of expecting, that the A side will get the A side network will get the live viewing rights of this fight, and the B side will get the tape delay as usual.
And in the Garden State, everyone's favorite amateur, Alex Doomsday, Linus Doomsday. What's going on, brother? Unmute. Rookie alert.
Second round with the TBV team here. And what's going on, family? We're going to be talking about Wladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. Exciting fight. Going to generate millions of dollars at the gate. So let's go.
That is definitely one of the biggest selling points for them, that this fight will generate tens of millions of dollars just from the gate alone. It's going to be shown on Sky Box Office pay-per-view in the United Kingdom, obviously where Anthony Joshua is from. You know, Matthew Hunter, the Hipster, spoke of Joshua being that, you know, bona fide star, that A side, and that is why it seems that the Showtime have won the deal to stream this live fight, Matthew, which means they're going to get to air it sometime around 5 or 6 p.m. Now, my question to my panel, and I'll introduce Mario, and then, Mario, you can just speak briefly. Don't necessarily have to answer the question. You can let the question whip back around to you, is did Showtime and Anthony Joshua really come out on top, or is not HBO having the, tape delay on the network that really is known for boxing and elite level boxing, right? There's more subscribers on HBO, not to mention if the rematch actually happens, Wladimir upsets the, favorite in Anthony Joshua, well, then HBO would get to be the first one to air the fight in the next fight. So, I mean, with all those details in, do you still feel that they have lost? Let's get on out to Corpus Christi, Texas, to the home of Pablo Munguia's brother, Mario.
It's me, Mario.
Well, I apologize for being late. I will say that this is a huge decision. There are so many angles at play. From what I'm understanding and from basically the inside scoop of it, this is a very difficult deal to finalize. But there are definites in the questions that you proposed. And Matt, I'm going to let you take it away first.
Well, I think the idea that HBO somehow won because they got the prime time viewing of this fight is just categorically untrue. The live rights of any sort of sport activity is what you want, whether it be rugby, curling, hockey, ping pong. It doesn't even matter. You need that live TV rights deal because most people watch it live. They do.
Well, I think I really want. Okay, go ahead.
You said most people watch it live, so I guess a question to that would be: we're not used to watching fights at 5 and 6 o'clock. So if HBO gets the tape delay, they might even end up having more views because people are used to watching boxing at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time when HBO will be airing it.
But yeah, they may get the more total number of views, but the percentage may be higher for Showtime because they have less subscribers. So let's say theoretically, let's throw out numbers just for hypothetical, that on Showtime it does 850,000 views live. Now that would be huge for Showtime because the most this year it's only been 480, I believe, for Broner. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what the number was. So 850 would be double their highest number this year. So that'd be huge for Showtime. But HBO can come in and do 860, and that would be more. But we all know HBO needs to do over 1 million to really mean anything and have any sort of significance. If it doesn't break that 1 million viewers for HBO, is it really that good of a show? Like, that's always been the mark.
Well, I will say this, and it's a good transition because of Ness's argument. Matt, you could not be any more right and wrong in the same monologue, because you're absolutely right on everything you said. The live portion of the sporting event is the most important thing when it comes to network TV and when it comes to networks in general. That said, this particular instance, you are wrong. We are geared up to watch fights at night. I think the only people that are going to be watching this fight, the bulk of it, are going to be the hardcores that know to tune in at that time. This is not the fight for hardcores in America. This is the fight for people to get to know the heavyweight division outside of America, and period, actually. And the people at the bars, the people at the parties, the people at home on TV watching HBO that night are going to be the ones that watch it. And they are going to be the ones that ultimately make HBO the winners in this deal. HBO did win. They won significantly because they got to come out on top without having to risk it all.
Let me shed a little bit of positivity on this. The one good thing is that both Wladimir and Anthony Joshua will have maximum exposure. It will be a UK pay-per-view on Sky. It will be on HBO and on Showtime the same day within a 4-hour probably time gap. This thing is going to get eyeballs on it. It will bring the heavyweight division back to where it should be, and it would start to open up a lot of different storylines. Now, the bad news is there is a rematch clause. The thing is that you know how rematch clauses work. If Joshua wins, there's no need for a rematch. Now, if Klitschko wins, obviously Joshua exercises his rematch. That's the way that it goes. If Klitschko loses, does he exercise his right for a rematch clause? Does Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn even entertain him? And at 42 years old with 2 back-to-back losses, would he contemplate retirement or exercise that rematch clause? I ask you guys before we go out to the callers to get their take on this situation.
I think if Klitschko loses in any sort of devastating fashion, there's no way he comes back. Like, he's 42 years old, like you said. He's already a Hall of Fame legacy. You know, he's one of, if not the greatest heavyweight of the 21st century so far. So I think that he doesn't need more fights. If he wins, he wins. I think he should retire then as well. If he loses, he should retire as well. This is the swan song for Wladimir Klitschko, in my opinion.
Well, I will tell you what Wladimir does, but before I tell you what he does, I'll tell you what everyone watching should do. They should hit that thumbs up right now. Viability is the most important aspect of our show, and it helps us out greatly. So please hit that thumbs up right now. And yes, Matt is right, and thank God Matt is back to his normal ways. He is absolutely right because Klitschko should retire. However, I'm going to say that he does retire. If he loses in devastating fashion, he's going to retire. If he loses by a unanimous decision, he retires. The worst thing that could happen to Klitschko in this fight is that he ekes out a split or loses a split decision, or he's competitive and feels like he got robbed and keeps himself in the game. That said, if Klitschko comes out and blitzes this guy, because everyone's assuming Klitschko's done, I don't know that. We don't know that. You know, that's the bottom line about this, is that the Fury fight seems like such a long time ago, and yet it is the only lasting memory we have of a man who has solidified his place in the heavyweight division throughout time for much longer than this, defied odds of age, and he still looks really, really good, guys. So, if he is still that fighter, then there's no reason for him to hang it up. But we will find out. If he loses in any kind of way, he will retire. He will not invoke any sort of rematch clause, nor should he even have any aspirations of doing it. He has a beautiful wife. He has a new baby. He needs to just hang it up. He's made more than enough money, and that's where he should go, and he will.
Alex?
Alex,
yeah, man. Yeah, my take on that. You know, Vladimir Klitschko, you know, he's very competitive. At this point, he's doing it because he loves it, right? He's already solidified himself. But I think even if he does lose, I mean, if he doesn't lose, I believe by a devastating fashion, and he just loses, I think he'll want a rematch. If that's in the close, I think his competitive spirit, I think he'll want to do it again. But then again, if he does get hurt bad, there is a big possibility that he will step back. He will step back. So
that's a fair point.
But no, I mean, like I said, if he doesn't get beat up bad, and you know, it's not a crazy lopsided decision, I think he'd want to come back and get some more, man.
Let me ask you, Alex, just your opinion. Obviously, I'm not asking you to predict anything, but do you expect us to see the Klitschko that we've come to know, or even just a slightly lesser version, or do you expect it to be a shell of the man we once knew?
No. I think he's very hungry for this. I think that a lot of people are counting him out. You know, fighters feed off of this. You know, you get motivated by it. He's lived a very clean life for most of his life. So his age, you know, even though he is already, you know, on his way out, he's still able to beat a lot of the top guys, you know. And even though Anthony's the hungry young lion, and we know that he's stronger, you know, maybe even faster, but, you know, Klitschko has the experience, and I think that he's taking care of himself enough out of the ring for him to go in there. And if he really has a good camp, I think he has a shot, man. This guy's a champion. He has good movement, good torso movement. He's smart. You know, when he fought Tyson, you know, Tyson Fury, I don't know if he slept on him, you know, sort of thing. But Tyson Fury was definitely, I think, one of the first guys that was a lot bigger than Klitschko. You know, I know he fought Pulev. Pulev was pretty big, but Pulev was kind of, you know, stiff.
Yeah.
Tyson's a good boxer, man. Even though he's going through some things right now.
No, yeah, he definitely is. But I will say one thing, though. The last point I'll make that we were on a phone conference earlier with Alex, and Alex had mentioned that he was recovering from his last tournament, and it took a lot out of him. And he's a young guy, and everyone assumes in boxing that the longer the layoff, the worse for the fighter. This could have actually been, and I think it will be, beneficial for Klitschko, the time off that he's had to rest his body because he's up there in age. He has taken care of himself. So I think that this layoff actually will benefit him more so than, obviously most fighters that take this kind of layoff.
I can agree this time could be beneficial for him, for his body, but I think also for his mind. And, I think Tyson, he was going through a lot of more mental stress, you know what I mean? And sometimes you do need that off as a fighter, especially when you're fighting at those guys' levels. So much pressure.
Absolutely,
so much pressure.
right.
So he just got to get it together and get back in there. We want to see some more Tyson Fury, and we want to see the Tyson Fury that's healthy. Right now, pictures flying around on the internet got him looking pretty full, to say the least. You know what I mean?
Chubby to say the least. Listen, we would like those thumbs up button to be as fat as Tyson Fury's gut right now. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching this live. Let us know that you appreciate this show. This is a morning show catered to our UK demographic. We're trying to bring you more UK boxing news during this time. We'll be back later on tonight with another evening, more West Coast, East Coast type of topic. But we want to get out to these phone lines. I will say I think Klitschko retires if Joshua beats him at this point. Now, if the fight is competitive and maybe the fans warrant Klitschko stay in the business, then I think yes. But I don't think it's about his competitive nature. I think it more has to do with the performance. We're going to head on out to the phone lines. Showtime wins the Joshua versus Klitschko US TV deal, and HBO gets to tape delay it. Then the roles are reversed for the rematch that is not concrete. Remember, if Joshua wins, no reason to use the rematch clause. Klitschko's just an old guy who lost twice. If Joshua loses, then it's a different story. That exercise, that clause might get exercised awfully quick, But let's get on out to the sponsors and out to the phone lines. The number 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 if you want to voice your opinion on this topic on the Voice of the People hotline. And international callers can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype by adding NESTORGIBBS.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. What's going on, Marcus?
Yo, what's good, Boxing Voice, man? What it do, man? Yo, check this out. I think the layoff for Klitschko, we're going to have to see what happens with that, because it wasn't about his conditioning. I think in the Fury fight, what it looked like, he just got old and wouldn't let his hands go. And layoff or not, this wasn't a guy that's been in a lot of wars. So I think the thing with the layoff more with him is whether he's going to come let his hands go a second time out, because, I mean, the fight previous to Fury is not like he hadn't looked devastating still. So we have to see about that. As far as Showtime winning the airing, man, only at 5 o'clock, I figure on East Coast it'll probably be a bigger viewership than on the West Coast at probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I believe that long as HBO is showing a fight after the Klitschko Joshua replay, I think they're gonna have more viewership than Showtime because of that. Because a lot of times people miss that 4 o'clock or that 5 o'clock fight in the UK. It happens pretty frequently, no matter who's airing it, whether it's HBO or Showtime. So I think Showtime loses out on this one a little bit because of the time. But, let's see. But I think HBO wins as long as they run in the fight before or after the replay. So is that the 29th, right? So aren't they running they were supposed to run a fight, but I don't know if they still going to do that.
No. They only get to do the tape delay. I didn't read anything at all. And this is all coming from sources. So this is why we're on the rumor mill of today's show. It's definitely the rumor mill. These are all sources.
This has not been finalized. And real quick, not only has it not been finalized, but the only real sources other than the ones that are, divulging is the fact that right now on both of their schedules, they have the evening. I mean, Showtime has the live and HBO has the night blocked off. So that's the only indication right now that that is what is going on. But we don't know who's going to have the rights to the fight afterwards to be able to replay it. We don't know who's going to be able to catalog it. You know, it's a lot of information we still don't know.
And according to Dan Rafael, who's the one that really started reporting all this, the idea of who airs the live viewing rights or who has that right is already decided on. It's the other stuff like Mario alluded to, who has it in their catalog for forever. That's more important to these networks, I believe. And I can see why, especially if you have a potential new star in boxing like Anthony Joshua, who could be here for the foreseeable future and be the biggest name in the sport.
You're 100% right.
Good point. Good point. Let's keep it moving. We're going to Lorenzo in Huntsville, Alabama. Talk to us.
Yeah, man. I actually see the Showtime HBO deal as a win for especially casual fans. But actually, since HBO has more subscribers, it's habit to watch HBO, and Showtime is more appointment TV. So you, depending on how they set up the or how many undercard fights are aired, I think Showtime may actually end up winning because you have 5, 6 o'clock in the evening to watch fights, and they will go off at around 8 or 9 o'clock, and then you still have time to do whatever it is you want to do, or you do have the option to wait. And that's all I have to say about it.
All right, brother. You know, let's get out to Blind Man Brad in Bakersfield. Talk to us.
Okay, well, I think that it's a win-win to have it on both networks. Am I correct here? It's going to be on both networks?
It is.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, like Lorenzo was saying that a lot of people are on HBO, but then there's some people on Showtime. I mean, it just balances it out and makes it less of a hassle for everyone to watch. And as far as the fight goes, I think, I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think that Joshua is going to win. I don't think he's going to win the way he's been winning. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight, and that's just showing respect to a legend. I don't think that he's going to come out there and steal the fight from Joshua, because this is his time, and that's what I think is going to happen, man.
All right, Brad. Thanks for calling in. Let's get out to the international Skype line. We got some alumni waiting.
I told y'all a long time ago, the Kirkland will go down 3 rounds.
Right hand, strap me up. Next, I got milk, baby.
Yeah, Milkman, back midday session. I think regardless of the outcome, short of Klitschko getting knocked out cold or something like that, I think he'll probably fight 1 or 2 more times. But I'm curious I wonder why, or they might have tried and couldn't work it out, but it seems to me like it would have made more sense if Showtime could have aired the fight on CBS instead of just Showtime, especially for a midday fight like that. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, this is a very, very difficult deal. And any way it gets solidified and neither party has one up on the other, like, for instance, one of the big sticking points for HBO is that Showtime doesn't broadcast the winner, that Showtime doesn't, show any clips of the fights on social media or any way. Like, this is coming down to the wire, so it's got to get finalized, but they're not going to leave anything on the table. But I don't know if anyone could benefit any more than they already have. It seems like a pretty even trade, 1 live versus 1 tape. So I think HBO makes out the winner in this, but I wouldn't say that Showtime could have done anything better or more efficient.
That's my call. I'm out.
All right, Milkman. Thanks for calling in. Let's get out to new caller here. Dewey, I think. I have no clue how to pronounce your name, my friend. Where are you calling in from?
Well, I live in the UK. I'm Polish, so my new caller.
How long have you been listening? Yes, we hear you perfectly.
Probably a couple of years at least.
Oh, nice.
Since you started.
So you definitely know about the tradition. We're going to go ahead and give you the first time caller intros. Let us know your name, where you're calling from, and then you can get into your call.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
David, Paul, Prazak.
David, talk to us.
I think this is a really good fight, which it could end up with Joshua knocking out Klitschko, but I see Klitschko outboxing Joshua as well. I think it could be really either way, depending on how Klitschko trains up and how well he's prepared himself.
Yeah, that definitely has a lot to do with it.
And who do you think benefits between HBO and Showtime? Do you think the live version is important, or do you think primetime is more important?
I think at first I thought that Showtime benefits because they get the priority, but the more I thought about it, the more I came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter because certain people will be subscribed to Showtime and certain people will be subscribed to HBO.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point. Great point.
Yeah, so I don't think that there'll be any differences. I think one thing that it shows to me though is that Showtime is getting the upper hand of HBO, and it might have to do with that HBO has been pulling back a lot of money and they're not investing in their fighters as much as they used to. I think Showtime is putting in a lot more money and effort to try and be the upper hand, which is good, but it would be also good to see the two of them working together more and more. I thought that was kind of the way they were heading, but with this, I'm not so sure anymore. It could be either way. We'll see, I guess.
Listen, that's a great call. Thank you for calling in. We very much appreciate it. Keep calling in because those are great points. At the end of the day, I wish HBO and Showtime could just find a way to make fights work with each other. I know it's a very difficult process, and I'm not going to be gullible, but that's the ultimate point: is that these guys need to find a way to work better because this isn't the only fights we want to see. We want to see this kind of stuff in the future. But I will say that the one reason Showtime could be getting the upper hand and HBO's pulling back is because, remember, they're the ones with the older fighter in Klitschko. They're making investments in Joshua. And, at the end of the day, Showtime's got a lot more to lose than HBO in this sense.
No denying that. Let's go back out to Skype. Idris, talk to me. Idris in the UK. Idris in the UK. What's going on? I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to ask quickly, HBO, is it bigger than Showtime?
Yes, significantly so.
So
in terms of subscribers, yes.
Wouldn't HBO happen to they should be promoting it, right? Which would be good for Showtime. Is it catch 22 for them, isn't it?
Well, it would be, but Showtime doesn't. Showtime's actually, that's one of the sticking points. They didn't want them to promote it. Yeah, they didn't want.
That's actually part of one of the things they want to iron out if both of them are going to do promoting up until the big fight.
Like last week, HBO wanted to give the time and they couldn't.
Yeah, they were supposed. They actually wanted to announce it for the Lomachenko fight. Yep. And Showtime said no, and now Showtime only has this April 14th Showbox fight, which is a pretty good fight with a Clarkston from Texas.
They want to give.
Well, they have Berto on the 22nd as well, so Berto and Porter, so they can do it then also.
Oh, is that Showtime?
That is Showtime. It's weird, right? It doesn't feel like a Showtime fight.
Especially not as stacked as it is. Well, no, yeah, I guess when it is stacked, they always go to Showtime because of the money issues.
They're going to be showing it live, right? Showtime?
Showtime is going to be showing it. Well,
HBO is going to be taped.
Well, we gave you the details that we can give you. This is still a rumor mill story coming from the desk of Dan Rafael and his sources. And sources say that Showtime has won the rights to air the live feed, and HBO will do the tape delay, and then the roles will be reversed for the rematch if that even happens. My final thoughts, Showtime won hands down. Like Matt said, live rights are important because people are anxious. But Mario's also right. You know, the hardcores are the ones that are going to watch it live. The other guys may watch it on the HBO time. And then, you know, you have the fact that Joshua is with Showtime, so probably they're going to have the rights to keep the fight as well. I think hands down Showtime won this. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. Those were my final thoughts, and my co-hosts can give you theirs.
My final thoughts on this whole network battling is that it's just a further showing of the paradigm shift of boxing, that boxing in 2017 is a year of change in so many ways. And I feel like the overall thawing of these relations between Showtime and HBO, the fact that it is seemingly being very cordial in how they've been working together, the fact that Showtime is seemingly getting the rights to major fights live and not HBO, you know, adding on all the other paradigm shifting movements in boxing, like weight cutting, drug testing, and so forth and so forth. This is a big year, and I think we're going to be talking about this later on. But like I said earlier, A side always gets his way.
My final
A side. So, and you obviously find me at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, and my MMA podcast Mixed Combat Radios on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Facebook, etc. Peace.
My final thoughts is that Matt is 100% right in everything he said, but the only thing I would leave you with is I will be watching both broadcasts. I will watch the first one live, probably by myself, maybe with my brother, who is also a hardcore. I will have a fight party that night and invite many more casuals. So the atmosphere, for one, is going to be completely different for a lot of people. The nighttime for an American fight is going to be much more fun, much more relaxed. Drinks are flowing. People are going to have a better time, a better experience, and that is ultimately why I think HBO wins in this scenario. You can find me at Mario Munguia on Twitter, at Mario Munguia on Instagram and on Facebook, and I am out.
Final thoughts for me. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what's the result. You know, two networks they can negotiate. I'll be looking forward to seeing if they can do it. And other fights can happen. You know, networks working together the right way. And yeah, I'll probably be watching both of them too, HBO and Showtime. So and that's my thoughts. You can catch me on Instagram, Alex Doomsday Linez, and Facebook, Alexander Linez. Peace.
Don't forget that the best way to say you love this show, you enjoy the content, is to hit that thumbs up button. It costs you nothing, helps with the visibility of the show, just as well as dropping us a 5-star review on iTunes, which is also very important and helps with the visibility of the show. I should stick around a little later here and make Matt read one of these great reviews that they give us, since he's such a great reader. But I guess we'll do that another time. Later.